Ah, Lolicon. What a divisive issue. Never have I seen the greater anime, and by extension hentai communities, so divided. I know where I stand on the issue, but I'm not going to try and make a case for Lolicon in this video. If somehow you're still on the fence, I'll link something in the description. There is a strange culture that has arisen around this subject, with ramifications spreading as far as the legal system. Within this culture, I've noticed there is quite a bit of hypocrisy, especially among those who are anti-Lolicon, specifically in regard to the ways that authors circumvent criticism from these types, and the way that audiences accept said circumvention has always been puzzling to me. In fact, these methods that authors employ have become incredibly notorious, and despite this, these same methods are still being propagated and still being accepted. A great semi-recent example of this would be the H-anime Doki Doki Little Oya-san. Sure, the landlady of the apartment who's having sex with her tenants may look like a child, but she's older than our main character. So technically, she's just petite. No lollies in sight, we're good to go. Of course, this does depend on your definition of what a lolly is, but for the most part, people just run with it. I don't mean to sound as though I have a problem with this, in fact I quite liked the show, but rather for the life of me I cannot wrap my mind around the reception. If we were to rewrite this show and only change the supposed age of the landlady to better reflect her appearance, would the work be any different? For the most part, no. It would be a little bit weird that a child owned an apartment complex, but as far as hentai go, that's not that far-fetched. However, I can almost guarantee that what little reception this show got anyways would be very different. While it's currently rated incredibly well for a hentai anime, the moral crusade against all things lolly would not be too keen if the landlady were actually a lolly, as if there's somehow a difference. This fact alone wouldn't really bother me all that much if these excuses were particularly well veiled, but they aren't. The thing that really gets to me is that they are all aware of this. Hell, everyone is aware of this. What I'm saying right now is not exactly new information. There are innumerable memes about this, and yet it still works. Nobody has a problem with Doki Doki Little Oya-san. And while I don't think that the show deserves it, for the sake of consistency, maybe people should have a problem with it. Perhaps the underlying reason behind this blatant and self-aware hypocrisy is that these opponents of Lolicon are actually closet lolly lovers, sort of like how homophobes are more likely to be gay, link in the description. By standing in opposition to these pseudo-lolly shows, they would lose their only source of lolly action that doesn't come with moral baggage. But no one would ever admit to that, so it's merely speculation. I don't think anything could really explain this phenomenon outside of simply labeling it as cognitive dissonance. At the end of the day, Doki Doki Little Oya-san is a clear-cut lolly hentai. To deny that is absurd, but that doesn't mean the work is any worse because of it. It's actually one of the best H-anime I've seen come out in recent years. But I don't want it to only get praise in spite of its lolly elements, to be forced to push those back with formalities. No, it should get praise because of them, and I'm glad that the pro-lolly side is doing just that. Overall, I'd give the show an I haven't actually finished it out of 10.